You're listening to Noetic Forge, where ideas are sparked, mysteries are explored, and the mind is free to roam. Let's forge something extraordinary today.
Welcome to Noetic Forge, where we take a look at the sources you provide and, we forge the most fascinating bits from them. And this time we're venturing into the enchanting realm of Celtic folklore and fairy tales.
Oh, these tales, they're like a window, into the very heart of ancient Celtic beliefs, filled with magic and wonder and otherworldly beings and, timeless wisdom.
It looks like you've given us a grand collection of stories to work with.
I believe we do.
Shall we begin?
Why not?
I think our first story centers around a prince named Cuchulain, known for his striking red hair. He lived in a time when the veil between our world and the fairy realm was as thin as a whisper. One day, while out with his father, the King Cuchulain stumbles upon a beautiful fairy maiden. I can only imagine what that must have been like.
Oh, it was quite the sight. This wasn't just any fairy maiden. You see, she hailed from Tir na Nog, a land spoken of in hushed tones.
Really?
Oh, It's said to be a realm of eternal youth and beauty, where sorrow and aging are unknown, a place where joy reigns forever.
Sounds low.
It does, doesn't it? And she paints a very vivid picture of this other world, inviting Cuchulain to leave everything behind and join her.
Well, any parent would be worried.
Mm-hmm.
And the king was no exception. He calls upon his druid. Think of him as a wise man, a sort of magician, to try and break the fairy maiden's hold on Cuchulain. But the prince is already captivated. I wonder if something in him longed for that escape, that promise of something more.
Aye. And isn't that a feeling we can all relate to, that yearning for something beyond the everyday? A longing for a world free from worry and hardship. The story doesn't explicitly say whether Cuchulain sailed away with the fairy maiden, it leaves us hanging, wondering if he succumbed to the allure of Tir na Nog, or chose to remain in the mortal realm.
Almost as if the storyteller wanted us to look deep inside ourselves and ask, what would we choose?
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. Okay, on to a tale with a bit more humor, shall we? This one is about Guleesh. He is a farmer's son, known for his simplicity but with a heart of gold.
Guleesh ends up in the fairy world, tricked by a band of mischievous fairies. It's a realm full of wonder, but also teeming with danger. The thing about Guleesh, though, is that despite his perceived naivety, he's resourceful and possesses a sharp wit.
So he's not easily fooled.
Not at all. He uses his cunning to navigate the challenges of the fairy realm. He even manages to win the affection of a princess, though there's a bit of a twist. She's been placed under a spell, rendering her unable to speak.
Oh no, how sad.
So Guleesh has to break the spell. You see, Guleesh's journey isn't just about escaping the fairies, it's about using his innate kindness and cleverness to overcome adversity.
I see.
He shows us that even someone considered simple can achieve extraordinary things, especially when driven by love and compassion.
So it's a story of transformation and resilience.
Yeah.
But how does Guleesh break the spell?
Well, that's for the next part of our journey. We wouldn't want to spoil all the fun now, would we?
Of course not. We'll return to Guleesh's question just a bit. But first, let's take a look at a story about a tailor. And not just any tailor, mind you. This one's known as the Sprightly Tailor, which I find absolutely delightful.
A fitting title, wouldn't you say? The story goes that this talented tailor, known for his skill and confidence with a needle and thread, is presented with a rather unusual challenge.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What kind of challenge?
A wealthy laird. Think of him as a lord or landowner, tasks the tailor with sewing a pair of trousers. Simple enough, you might think. Except the catch is that he has to sew them in a haunted church. And not just during the day, mind you, but at night.
A haunted church at night. Oh my, that sends shivers down my spine just thinking about it. Did he accept?
Oh, he did. This tailor was not a man easily daunted. Picture this. He sets up his workshop in the eerie silence of the church as darkness descends, and right on cue, strange things begin to happen.
This is where it gets good. What happens next?
Well, a giant head rises up through the floorboards, its eyes glowing in the dim light, and it booms out, "Do you see me, little tailor?"
Goodness. I can't even imagine the courage it would take to stay calm in that situation. What did he do?
The tailor, without missing a beat, simply replies, "I see that, but I'll sew this," and carries on with his work. Can you believe that?
I'm impressed. But I bet that wasn't the end of it.
You're right. The giant head rises further, revealing a neck, then a chest, and finally arms. Each time it tries to frighten the tailor, but he remains unfazed. His response never wavers. "I see that, but I'll sew this."
He's like a rock in the face of fear. It's almost as if he's saying, nothing, not even a giant rising from the floor, will stop me from finishing what I started.
Exactly. He refuses to be intimidated, focusing on his task despite the terrifying distractions. And in the end, the sprightly tailor completes his trousers, earns his reward, and proves that courage and a focused mind can conquer even the most supernatural of fears.
That's quite a message. It reminds me that sometimes when we're facing our own giants, just staying focused on the task at hand can help us overcome those fears.
Well said. Perhaps that's one of the reasons these stories have endured for centuries. They offer us not just entertainment, but also insights into the human experience.
Now for our final story. We move from a sprightly tailor to a tragic heroine, Deirdre. Her tale is one where beauty is both a blessing and a curse. It's said that her beauty was so great that it could launch 1,000 ships.
Yes, and like many figures in Celtic lore, her life is intertwined with prophecy. From the moment she's born, it's foretold that Deirdre's beauty will bring about war and destruction. Imagine being born with such a weighty fate hanging over you.
It must have felt like a heavy burden. What did they do to protect her?
In an attempt to shield her from the prophecy's grip, Deirdre is hidden away, raised in isolation by a nurse. However, fate, as it so often does, has other plans in store.
Of course it does. Who enters the picture?
3 brothers, Niwes, Ainla, and Arden, the sons of Uznek. These are no ordinary men. They're renowned warriors known for their bravery and strength.
I've got a feeling one of these brothers is going to fall for Deirdre.
You'd be right. Niwes is the one who captures Deirdre's heart, and hers his. It's a classic tale of forbidden love. The king, fearing the prophecy's fulfillment, tries to keep them apart.
That never works out well, does it?
It rarely does. Their love is too powerful to be denied. They elope, seeking refuge in Scotland, far away from the king's reach. For a while, they find happiness and peace, but their idyllic life is not meant to last.
I'm guessing the king has something to do with that.
Indeed, eventually they're lured back to Ireland with false promises of forgiveness and reconciliation. But it's a trap, of course. Betrayal and violence erupt, leading to the deaths of Niwes and his brothers.
Oh no, how tragic. What happens to Deirdre?
Deirdre, heartbroken and desolate, chooses to end her own life rather than live without her beloved. It's a powerful and moving story full of passion, loyalty, and the enduring strength of the human spirit, even in the face of overwhelming odds.
It makes you think about the choices we make in life, doesn't it? Sometimes even when we try to defy fate, it can feel like we're caught in its web.
There's a lot to unpack in this story, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even in the phase of destiny, we still have the power to choose our path, even if that path leads to a tragic end. The fact that she made her own choices, even if influenced by fate, is remarkable.
Yes, Deirdre's story, like so many others in Celtic folklore, highlights the complexities of human experience, exploring the interplay of love, fate, and free will.
Okay, we've traveled through stories of longing, courage, and heartbreak. Shall we end our exploration on a lighter note?
I think that would be lovely. What have you got for us?
This last one involves a king and a saint, and a rather extraordinary goose. Have you ever heard of King O'Toole and his goose?
Ah, yes. A tale as humorous as it is insightful. King O'Toole was known for his love of good food, good company, and of course his goose that laid golden eggs.
A golden goose. Now that's a valuable asset. But I imagine even a goose that lays golden eggs has a limited lifespan.
Indeed. Sadly, the goose meets its demise, leaving the king utterly heartbroken. But as luck would have it, St. Kavin, renowned for his miracles, happens to be passing through the kingdom.
Oh, that's convenient timing. I bet the king begged St. Kavin for help.
He did, and St. Kavin, being a man of compassion, took pity on the king. He agreed to bring the goose back to life. However, St. Kavin was also known for his shrewdness. He struck a deal with the king.
There's always a catch, isn't there? What did St. Kavin ask for?
In exchange for restoring the goose, St. Kavin asked for all the land the goose could fly over King O'Toole, thinking this was a brilliant bargain. Readily agreed. He likely assumed the goose would just fly around the castle a bit.
Oh no, I can see where this is going. This was no ordinary goose, was it?
It was not. This goose, upon being revived, took off on an epic flight, soaring over vast stretches of the kingdom. King O'Toole could only watch in disbelief as his land quite literally flew away.
Hold on, the goose flew over how much land? That St. Kavin, he was a clever one.
Indeed. In the end, St. Kavin acquired a significant portion of the kingdom, all thanks to the flight of a rather extraordinary goose.
That's a hilarious story. It reminds us that even in these ancient tales, there's a healthy dose of wit and humor. And perhaps a reminder to be careful what we wish for, and to always read the fine print, even when dealing with saints.
Exactly. So we've traveled from the magical realm of Tierna and Og, encountered a sprightly tailor who faced his fears head-on, witnessed a tragic love story, and even met a king who lost his land to a goose.
What a journey it's been. These Celtic tales, while entertaining, offer us a glimpse into the values, beliefs, and humor of a culture that held storytelling in high regard. They're filled with magic bravery, love loss, and even a little trickery.
They remind us that these human experiences, these emotions are timeless, connecting us to those who came before us, and perhaps they might inspire you to seek out more stories, to delve deeper into the rich tapestry of Celtic folklore and discover the treasures hidden within.
What a fantastic way to wrap things up. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this world. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of Celtic folklore. Until next time.